I've got all 7 of my videos laid out and I'm done. Not quite. Not only a few other visual things I might edit, but I still have to sync the audio. Now, before I get into the audio, just to show you what all I did, got all of my videos lined up, partly by knowing that my second row was going to have different math. 640 wide is how you divide up 1920 by 3. I know because I can use a calculator on most days. Today is one of those days. It kind of will have some video overlap or underlap. I set my opacity of my padding color to 0% on all videos. I got everything lined up. There's no visible edges between my videos. If you do not like that, there's a few different ways for you to deal with that. You could potentially shrink your sizes of your video within it, but as you can see, since I've got video data underlapping other layers, that wouldn't work as well. Or you can use this corner radius just to give a rounded edge at each crop window. Now you won't see something as small as say a 10%, but if you were to crank it up, once my computer catches up, you'll start seeing these little edges show up around each performer. I still have to sync up the audio. This is going to be using the timeline, so I can go ahead and drag. I don't need to see much up here as much as I need to see this timeline space. You can actually make the track shorter and taller. I want to find the points to sync up. In this case, I have 2 different unison points that I can check for alignment. Almost everybody comes in at the same point, except of course for the trumpets, because you know, trumpets. I can actually use this playhead, this is what this is called, the playhead as an alignment tool. I'm then going to increase the zoom, spread everything up, out a little bit left to right. This lets me really get closer look at where that playhead is exactly when it comes to the sound. Now you can see this is much cleaner. I can see where things start. Now, a few tips that I've noticed in working with ensembles is you can sometimes get what seems like a false start to a note. Or an unclear start to a note, and this can be the articulation of the wind instrument, or even for singers, what consonant or vowel starts the sound. Now we've got zoomed in here. You can see that that is unsure where each performer started the note. Here you can see these top two, tracks 6 and 7, pretty much dead on. So I'm going to leave them untouched. A tip, if you are working on a laptop like me, you can turn off the visual representation of each of these layers. If I turn off those other, the visibility of the other layers while I'm working, things will speed up a lot. Once everything looks pretty good, you can try playing this in Shotcut to see how it sounds. I recommend turning off all of the video, especially if you're on a lower powered laptop. Another pro tip about this, if people are playing their metronomes, you'll hear how those metronomes line up, giving you one extra little bit of cue. To anyone listening to this, it's going to be lined up. It doesn't look perfect in the waveforms, but that's okay. Those were just a tool to help me get as close as I could before I hit that play button to see how it sounds. Now, one of the things I said I'd kind of mention or go over a little bit was some tips and tricks to how to get recordings that are going to line up nicely. One is having a reference recording that the performers are listening to in their ears, say in the headphones, loose headphones, so that they can hear themselves matching not just to the timing of a piece, but also to the tuning of the piece. So I would recommend having a reference recording, whether it's a finale output, which isn't great, or an actual official recording of the performance of the piece you're working on. Either of those will help a lot. Otherwise, you might find yourself creating a demo reel of your performers and then picking 1 or 2 of them that got it pretty close that you're going to send back to your performers to play or sing along with, so that they can kind of match their tone and balance, and send you a second file. I'm pretty much ready to export and publish this video, but I do have to decide how its finished look is going to be. So seeing some people leave these different starts in place for the effect of people kind of logging in to the recording. But what I want to do is just get the video started. So I'm going to come and see where the song starts. And something you can do is just kind of choose a position that you might actually start all of the performers from. And that same tip we used earlier for the trails, I'm going to use here. I'm going to select one video at a time. I'm going to go through and click the split at playhead button. This allows me to set a specific spot that every video is going to sync up from. Because again, I can only go so far left as the beginning of this timeline, but I also don't want to lose the synchronization between tracks, right? So what I'm trying to do is give a synchronized start point to each of the videos. That way I'll drag them all over and they'll actually line up. So now I've got each of these tracks has their intro split at the playhead that I can then go through and select each one of them, delete them. Now I've got everything trimmed. I can simply drag over to the left and I won't lose my synchronization between the tracks. And now I've gone to the end of the video to do the same thing. We're actually ready to export the video. Nicely placed here is this button says export. Click advanced. You're not really going to change any settings in here. This is probably already going to be set up about where you need it. I'll just give you a quick view of what's over here on the left here. If you're trying to say just do a preview video and you don't want to have to wait forever for the rendering, which you're going to find out can take some time. The two things that you can change that are going to speed things up without messing with any of your other settings are deinterlacer. Just click this and change it from best to one of the fast options. And interpolation also change to a fast option. This will speed it up significantly. You really don't need to mess with anything else in here. It's already going to be set, most likely, if you follow my instructions, exactly like this, but you do have a few other options. MP4, that's great. So now I'm ready to simply start exporting the file. It's going to ask where I want it to go. What's going to happen is you'll see this little window over here and it's going to show you the timeline. I hope this walkthrough was helpful for you. Please like and share with others. I just did this to help people I know trying to do exactly this virtual ensemble thing. So I do hope it helps. And if you like, also please subscribe for more content like this, and that'll motivate me to make some more. So thanks for watching.